I don't care how much money I make. I mean, it'll come along the way. But like, how much impact am I really making, right? Not only throughout random people, but throughout your own core group of friends. Because a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, like, in all honesty, the people that I've seen, they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. It's like they're not having the joyful moment, authenticity. The only thing they're showing is their success to themselves, but are they sharing the wealth?
What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 4 of the Idea to Reality podcast. On today's episode, I have serial entrepreneur from Chicago, Fritz Colcol. I had a really incredible time interviewing Fritz today, and what I really love the most about Fritz is his humility, his morals. He was raised in a third world country, so he learned from a young age to be grateful for everything that he has. And what I really like about Fritz is that he utilizes that humility and that gratitude every single day in the business world, which is very rare to find these days. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. A little background on Fritz. He's involved in the restaurant industry, clothing lines, the fitness industry, and he's been featured in major publications such as Forbes, Huffington Post, Inc. magazine, and Entrepreneur. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed talking to and interviewing Fritz. So without further ado, sit back, relax, make sure to take notes because this is value-packed, and enjoy this exciting episode with Fritz Colcol. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and talk with me in the audience.
No problem at all. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's jump right into this. I want to get started because I think it's very important for people to understand some background information around these almost like celebrities. I consider you almost like a celebrity. So
I wouldn't consider myself, not yet, at least from my criteria, but thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course, you know what I mean, though. You achieve some status and things are doing really well for you. So I think it's important to hear your humble beginnings, really. What was your childhood like? Where were you raised? Talk about your family life a little bit from when you were a child.
Sure thing. So I am Filipino-American now, since I just got my American citizenship, I believe. Let's see here. If I got my memory right, 4 to 5 years ago. One or the other. But anyways, I moved in here in America when I was 11 or 12 years old. I'm 27 years old now. I grew up in the Philippines, a third world country, as many people know. It's getting better now, which is thankfully good. Being brought up in such a very poverty line neighborhood, I was able to see, the hardships that my parents have to go through on a day-to-day basis. My mom having multiple different types of job. My dad is a tricycle driver. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or any of my audience. Tricycle is kind of like a way of transportation back in the Philippines. It's like a motorcycle with a sidecar, and then you can fit like up to 3 to 4 people. Everyone's like all much in one little sidecar, and then like in the back, on the motorcycle, there's like 2 or 3 people that's gonna ride behind my dad's back, and that's just like a way of transportation in the Philippines. It's very popular out there. Right. It's called tricycle. So, but anyways, in such a poverty neighborhood, a lot of people will think that not many people are happy, not many people are not, being, I would like to say, adventurous or anything like that. But in all honesty, even back then, if I go back, like I was happy, I was content, not because of, not the money or none of that stuff. Even though we were poor, even though neighborhood was poor, everybody was just happy to the point where the happiness comes from the fun that you create out of it, right? So it's like you're creating your own vision of your own happiness throughout whatever it is that is given to you. So, I still remember to this day, me and my childhood friends back then, we created our own basketball court. So it's just like literally not a cardboard, but it's like we took a piece of wood. Like it's not even perfectly rectangular or squared or anything like that, but we didn't care. All we wanted to have is just like a little hook and like a backboard, and then we'll put that and we'll nail that on a tree. And we were able to do that literally in a night. That's how, in a day, the whole day, but it took us like a night, and then we were able to do that. Once you achieve that hard work and all of that, the blood, sweat, and tears and the time that you put into it, the effort, like the feeling of contentment and the feeling of, I would like to say, an achievement and accomplishment is tremendous, because you put every effort into it compared to a lot of people from first world country. What they do is just they buy things and they don't really appreciate it as much, right? Mm-hmm. So for us, like, we have to create that from the current opportunity, for the current situation that we have, the current resources that we have. And we did just that. And, that's kind of like my childhood. I love my childhood, games and fun and activities and hobbies. It's completely different from here. So even though I came out here at 11 or 12 years old, and I was still young, and I was still able to, I think, be Americanized or grow up in an Americanized society, that I was, I was shocked. I was a culture shock, because it's completely different. My lifestyle back then, it's like you go to school, you go back home, you just go outside in the streets and you hustle and grind in both sides and have fun. Like, even though at such a young age back then, I was already grinding, in all honesty. Every type of resources that I can get, I buy and resell. It's kind of like the game Tex. It's like a card game. It's like a mini Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I play around my streets. I keep winning. And then I buy those. I sell those. I buy and resell. Keep competing until to the point, I beat everybody in my neighborhood, my whole entire street, that I have to travel from different, community, different street to street, until everybody, instead of them going to the store, buying it for such a full price, they go after me buying used cards and then buying it like almost like 50, 60, 70% off, right? So I make money out of it. I was really young too, and then my parents and my friends were actually making fun of me back then, but I didn't really care, because it was kind of cool for me. I was just hustling. But yeah, my childhood, it's definitely, I would like to say, adventurous. It's not typical. It's different. Like, yeah, I get to see both worlds. Third world country, first world country, and I love it. Up to this day, I'm so blessed to have that type of experience.
Yeah, I think that's really cool how you came here when you said 11, 12. So it's like at the point where you're still young, but you're not so young where you don't remember anything. You know what I mean? So I feel like that is a blessing for you, because that gratitude sounds like it is really instilled in you. And that's something that people here in the first world countries, they just take things for granted. They complain about the most ridiculous things, you know what I mean? And you're like, are you serious? You don't even know where I came from. Like, this is
exactly.
Nothing. Exactly. So I think that's awesome. And I think that was another question I was going to ask you. If you were kind of an entrepreneur as a child, or did you grow into it? But it sounds like just from a very young age, you were just out there grinding and hustling and making it happen. And it sounds like also I've heard a few of your other interviews that your parents had a huge influence on you. Like you said, your mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she had all these side hustles. Your dad would work all day, all night, just to, make it happen for you guys. So I think that was also a great influence on who you've become today.
Most definitely. I can't take all the credit, in all honesty. Like, even with, I would even consider like all the accomplishment, success that I've done, I would even consider as like a success, like, because to the point I feel like that I'm still continuing to grow. I'm just in a journey right now. Like, it's just, I haven't reached the levels where I want to be. Let's just say that, right? It's cool to have little accomplishments here and there, but at the same time, for me, it's just a start. And it's not even the start. I haven't even, I feel like I still haven't scratched the surface, right? And it's crazy. And I'm truly blessed and thankful for the influence that my parents had instilled with me. And not just the influence, but I would like to say how they brought me up, to this world, like how I have my morals. I know like where to, kind of like, I would like to say, set lines of respect and commitment and discipline and having the right mindset for certain things. My mom and my dad, I believe, even though they didn't know the word entrepreneur before, I believe they were an entrepreneur. My mom would, create like opportunities from left to right. It's like buying and reselling stuff also. She was like an affiliate marketing for Avon and there's another one called Sale. It's like a brand in the Philippines where they like sell makeup, like pants, bunch of other stuff. It's like beauty cosmetic products, right? And it's like a third party type of thing. And then she will sell that to her friends, to our customers. She's actually the one also that created like a mini store that's attached right next to our house, to our mini house. It was just kind of cool. It's like a mini Walmart. In all honesty, they have a little bit of everything. They have snacks, they have beer, they have liquor, they have cigarettes, they have canned foods, canned goods, like whatever you name it, like a little bit of everything. She just like buys that and then buys that in a wholesale and then resell it. Then on top of that, that's where she kind of like promotes all of her affiliate marketing, that whatever she's part into. So that's kind of awesome, and I get to see that. And then she's hustling, and then on the side she cuts hair also, and then that was like one of her passions, like cosmetology. And then she ended up actually getting the degree here in America when we came out here a little over a decade ago. And then now that's what she does. Now she's a manager at Great Clips and still cuts hair, and I'm really proud of her. And she's, she loves what she's doing. It's just her passion. I even asked her, like, why don't you, Mom? It's like, you're at the right age. Just enjoy life, like with Dad, and just travel or take care of the grandkids or something, But she actually enjoys that, and that's her passion. And I gotta give her a props for that. Same thing with my dad too. My dad was, not only he was able to buy more tricycles, right, throughout the lifetime that he was in there and grinding, he was able to buy more tricycles and manage that. That's insane. He's like creating a company out of a nothing, right? He just hustled and grind day in, day out. He started with one tricycle, and then I think he ended up, like before we left, I think he ended up to like 4 or 5 of them, while he hired other drivers to drive it for him. So that's really a smart intellectual move by him. And that was kind of cool for me to see, like the effort and the hardships and the planning that he put into it. So, I would like to say, my parents are definitely a big influence on me, especially in the morality part and in the character who I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it just plays such a huge part on who we become. We obviously shape our own future, but when we have the right morals and honesty and everything like that and gratitude instilled on us from a young age, it really sets us apart, I like to think, in today's day and age where everyone's kind of fake and just flaunting their stuff. And, the lack of authenticity is real, and that's where I see that you are really thriving in your niche. You're always talking about your failures and your mistakes, and less so even than you talk about less of your successes and your failures. And I think that's massively important, because all you see on the Instagram, on social media, my cars, I did this, I did that, everything's great.
I'm not gonna lie, Tal. Like, in all honesty, I still show up some of my, nice watches, my nice travel, my nice dinner and stuff like. But at the same time, it's like part of it. But it is. You're right. A lot of people that's what they do. Like 90% or 99% of the time, they just show all the successes, all the mansions, all the beautiful cars and luxurious lifestyle they're living, which is great, right? Because that's I understand that. I understand the concept behind it. That is marketing. That is branding, and a lot of people would want to see that. So in order for them to be credible, I think that they feel like they need to do that. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm always transparent to many of my interviews and to myself and to anybody that I stumble upon with. I do that, and as for some reason I still can't help myself to do that, because it's like part of who I am also. It's not the whole thing, but it's part of who I am. So sometimes, I still get, I wouldn't call them haters, but it's just like people who just want to troll. I would like
trolls,
to say them.
Yeah, the trolls, man.
Right? So they were like, oh, you're just showing up your Rolex. Oh, you're just showing up your this, and that. And I'm like, I'm just showing the whole part of my lifestyle. It's who I am, and I work hard for this. This was like an accomplishment for me when I said I made a certain amount of figure, and it was kind of like a gift to myself, like a reminder, just saying that, hey, you need to work harder, so you can get more, you can bless more people, you can influence more people, you can inspire and motivate more people. I think at the end of the day, that's what matters to me the most. I don't care how much money I make. I mean, it'll come along the way, but like, how much impact am I really making, right? Not only throughout random people, but throughout your own core group of friends. Because a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, like, in all honesty, the people that I've seen, they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. It's like they're not having the joyful moment, authenticity. The only thing they're showing is their success to themselves. But are they sharing the wealth? Are they sharing the motivation, the inspiration that everybody that around, that's supposed to be like, surrounding, supporting him, supposed to be succeeding too? Because for me, if my friends, my family, my loved ones are not succeeding, I feel like I'm not succeeding. So I don't care how much I succeed. But if the people who I care the most are not succeeding, then I'm not succeeding. So therefore, I think, like, at the end of the day, I don't care how much likes, how much comments, followers, how much money, how much fame I get, or none of that stuff, right? It's like, how much impact am I really making throughout my community, my own community, and then focus on the other strangers and motivations, like, and inspirations that I want to give out, right? So I think that's what separates me from all of these other entrepreneurs, because the other entrepreneurs out there that I'm seeing, it's like, cool, they're showing their success, their supercars, their mansions and whatever. Awesome, great. But at the same time, are they really fulfilled within them? Are they truly happy? I think that's what matters the most.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it sounds like you're playing the legacy game. You're long-term versus short-term, and that's, you want to be here for the long game. You want to impact people. In order to do that, like you were saying, you have to build a legacy, something real. So that's why I think your audience is, like, your audience specifically, like you say, you have a few trolls, but the people that follow you consistently understand who you are, because you keep everything in perspective. You show the good, you show the bad, you show the ugly, you show the successes, you show the failures. It's not just great, 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 great. It's great, great, failure, failure, success. You know what I mean? You really bring it all, the entire entrepreneurial journey. And like I was saying, it's so important right now for people to be seeing that.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder, though, in all honesty, when it comes to growth, when it comes to target reach and all of that, especially for my type of niche, right? Because my brand right now, it's such broad. It's not like one type of thing. It's just like, entrepreneur quotes or motivational lifestyle. Like, it's none of that. It's like a little bit of everything. If you go to my page, like, especially in my Instagram, it's like I try to share authenticity, but at the same time I try to share, like, my personality of who I am and everything else among that, right? So you got your fitness audience that I used to have. That's why I'm not sure if you did a little research on me. I started in Instagram, I believe this was like 6 or 7 years ago, back in college. And I was into fitness, and just specifically fitness. All I did back then was post, like, your selfies, your progress with your physique, my diet, my workout routines. And you do a lot of S4S, which means shout for shout, with fellow fitness models or fitness fanatics out there. And that's how I grew my following back then. Back then, when you have 10,000, 20,000 followers, you're pretty much a celebrity, and which is a great feeling, because I'm a college kid. Instagram wasn't big in fitness niche yet back then. And then, you walk into a gym, and then somebody, or not everybody, but like somebody, always, every single time I go to the gym, at least 1 or 2 or 3 people will come up to me and they recognize me, and they're like, "Hey, aren't you Fritz Lifestyle from Instagram?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh man, you motivate me, man. Keep up the good work." Like those little moments, like, motivate the fuck out of me, Tal. Like, in all honesty, because it gives me extra boost of energy and motivation, and that's what I love. And then not only I'm influencing them, they're actually the ones ended up motivating me also. So it's kind of like it reciprocates, and it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. And then I'm like, oh man, look at this guy. He's like, looking up to my physique, but when I look at him in person, he's much bigger. He's much stronger than me, but he's motivated by me. Like, now I got to step my game up. And this is an awesome feeling. Throughout that time, it was great, man. Like, a bunch of sponsorships, a bunch of free gears, free clothing lines, free supplements, you name it, free underwear. And it was just like, it was crazy. It was a crazy time for me, but I didn't capitalize on that. But anyways, like, throughout what I was getting at, it's like my page started as originality for like a fitness niche, right? And then it kind of like slowly deteriorated to the point where I'm inconsistent with it. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I've done through branding, because I didn't see the potential in it back then, man. Like, back then I just took it for granted. I was like, yeah, I'm somewhat an IG famous, and that's cool, but I'm still in college and I still got to finish it, and this, and that. So I didn't really see a potential in it. I was just doing it for the likes, in all honesty. I was doing it for the likes. I was doing it for an ego boost for me, because, I'm showing my physique. Look at how many people will like this, will comment on this, will pulse on this, right? And that was a narcissistic way for me back then, like, to just show, this is my hard work. But there's nothing. I didn't monetize it. I didn't do anything about it. And I didn't really focus on it until to the point I realized that, oh, wow, a lot of people actually sending me DMs, sending me emails, sending me comments, asking like, oh, Fritz, can you give me a customized workout plan? What do you do for this? What do you do with that? What do you do for diet? It cost me time over and over again to responding to those for free. And then, I finally decided, what? I should start charging them. And I did that. And I made a couple thousands and grew from scaling it up. And it was awesome. Until to the point where I was like, this is a little too much. Am I, like, because I had self-doubt within me, Tal, because, like, I was like, I'm getting thousands of money, and I feel like, am I really giving that much value to them? I started doubting myself, because I felt like that I'm just getting the money from people, and I didn't really put that much effort. But, so I doubted myself. I was like, I'm going to stop this for a little bit. I feel like I've got enough money. I'm just going to travel and enjoy it a little bit, and then maybe get back into it once I ran out of funds, right? So that was a bad mistake for me. When I stopped that, I lost a lot of my touch, my branding, because I stopped posting for like a couple months, and people were just wondering what is going on, And then, you know how Instagram is. You need to be like constantly to be in it. Like, back then, I used to post like once, twice, sometimes up to 3 times a day. And then you do your fellow shout out for fellow fitness fanatics, and you grow each other's followers, all of that. But I disappeared like consistently every single time, like almost every summer break and spring break. Because back in college, like, man, I go crazy, bro. Like, I travel with my friends and just party hard and all that stuff. Just live life. Because that's what I didn't want to portray my Instagram followers. Like, you know what? I'm now all about the social media. I'm actually living life in real life. You know how people like portray a certain persona, a certain identity throughout social media.
Oh yeah.
And then when you see them in person, they're not the same. It's like they're awkward at talking, or they can't even socialize, or like it's just weird. You feel that, right? And it's kind of weird. So for me, like, you know what? I don't care about social media. I'm just gonna live life. I have a couple thousands for this month. I'm good. Like, and that was my mentality back then. I mean, I was a lot younger and stuff, but yeah, the main point of all that story is just like the niche that I was talking about into, that it's so hard to grow it now for my perspective, for my personal brand. It's because that now I'm sharing entrepreneurship. Now I'm sharing lifestyle. Now I'm still sharing fitness. I'm still sharing my business meeting. I'm still sharing my failures. It's like a whole brand, like a reality show about me. So in order for me to get like a little bit more traction, which means I need more credibility, right? So I need more features. I need more this. I need more that. I need more like credibility to the point where people will listen to me and look at me as like an actual public figure. And that's a lot harder than having like a business page that's focused on food, or a business page that's focused on just entrepreneurs, or like even a personal brand that's just focused on one thing. Either you're an entrepreneur, you just show up whatever it is you're doing to your business, all right? Or you're just a fitness guy, you're just showing everything about fitness. or you're just an influencer guy that's showing a lot of your pictures and whatnot, your luxurious lifestyle, which is great, right? So you have a theme. So now mine is a lot harder because I have a little bit of both, and that's kind of like the dilemma I'm in right now, that I don't know if I should just focus on one or just keep going for the long run for me, because I'm still getting some traction, but it's not a big traction to the point where I can grow my page even further, right? Because what ended up happening is that my old fitness followers are unfollowing me now, and just to be straightforward and to be blunt about this, like my fitness followers are literally unfollowing me, and then now I'm getting new niche, which is like the entrepreneur lifestyle and just like an influencer type of niche now. Like, there are people that are following me. So my Instagram growth or my brand, it's like kind of like up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like a straight line now rather than going up in an exponential growth. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, you're like taking 3 steps forward, 2.5 steps back. But
oh yeah, no, it's more about like, it's like this: 3 steps forward, sometimes 3 steps back, and sometimes 5 steps back. So you kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
no,
it's a lot
absolutely.
harder. But you know what? I'm not gonna give up, and I think that's a wonderful thing about entrepreneurship. It's like you have to love the journey. You need to love the actual work that goes along with it, right? So I think that I'll get there someday. It's gonna be a long road, but I'm not downing myself on this one. I mean, I am influencing the right people. I am helping the right people. I am motivating the right people. Hopefully, making impact for the right people. Within my community at least. And I think I truly enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like you have the right motivation for yourself. Like you were saying, when you were in the gym and someone came up to you like, man, you motivate me like crazy to get in the gym or do whatever it is. And then in turn, I could hear in your voice when you said it, that you're like, man, that motivates the shit out of me. Like, I could hear it from your voice. It's so authentic. So I think just that pushing you also will help you persist and proceed and continue to achieve that next level of success that you're looking for. So I know you are part of multiple companies, many different industries. I don't think we can have time to get into each one. So I want to talk about Simply Thalia. Mm-hmm. This is a company that you bought into 3 years ago, correct?
I believe 3 years ago was the other restaurant, Thalia Spice. This one is almost 2 years ago, I believe. Definitely less than 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago. So before this, you had your fitness brand. You were helping you put some programs together, some fitness plans for people on Instagram. So what made you decide to jump into the food industry? And I'm curious how you got into it, how you came up with the funds to get into it, your ideas to get into it, what you implemented. I really want a breakdown of how you got into it, and then it'll bring us to present day.
Sure thing. So Simply Thalia, just to give a little bit background to the audience, Simply Thalia is an Asian fusion cuisine located here in Chicago Loop, in the heart of downtown, inside Block 37 Mall. And we specialize in Asian fusion cuisine. So we have anything from Thai cuisine, from Viet cuisine, Chinese cuisine. We even have Malaysian cuisine as well. And of course, we have the full sushi bar, so the Japanese cuisine. And, the goodies of the liquor, because we have a full bar also, our martinis, wines, and beers and stuff like that. But anyway, Simply Thalia came across to me, as I said, 2 years ago, once I purchased the other, which is a brother-sister restaurant of it, Thalia Spice, 3 years ago. So during those time, when I was still a partner in Thalia Spice, there was 4 of us. I was one of the initial, I would like to say, owner, and then my friend brought another friend, and then that friend brought another friend. So now there's 4 of us. What ended up happening is that, I'm just gonna disclose this. It was a failure due to the point where everybody had a different concept, everybody had a different mindset and goals and decision making that they want to do. We signed a contract that each one of us had a 1 voting power. So I had one vote. My friend got one vote. His friend got another, and the other guy got another, right? What ended up happening, every time I tried to implement a strategy, a plan, a concept, it wouldn't go anywhere because my friend would stay neutral, so 0 vote, and then the other 2 friends are super good friends together. They'll have 2 votes saying no, and then I have my 1 yes vote. So I always get outvoted no matter what I do. So what ended up happening, they're the one that controlled it. A couple months later, it started to gain a little bit of traction from the first, kind of like their first idea of turning it into a Michelin star restaurant. It's like, because they brought in like a Michelin star chefs. Our first month, it did good. Of course, you got the launch, you got this, you're going to bring a lot of hype, your friends, a little publicity here and there, and stuff like that, right? But, as you lose your traction without any type of planning behind it, or any type of marketing, or any type of, I would like to say, like a strategy plan, because, you can't just keep bringing up your friends, your family, your friends of friends. You need to have an actual demographic that needs to go out there every single day, kind of like the brand that you used to have for being an Asian cuisine, like a Thai-focused cuisine before. Because, that restaurant had been around for the past 11 years. It's been somewhat successful due to, if it's been around for that long. There's a statistic says that if you don't last longer than 3 years, you're pretty much a failure. You close down, you lose your touch. But it's been around for 11 years. It's been to Check Please. It's been to Food Network. It's been to many other things, and it already gained that credibility. I was so against of changing the theme, the concept of the restaurant, but I couldn't do anything about it. It was outvoted. But anyways, just a quick summary and all that stuff. There was a dispute between me and the partners and whatever. And then it just so happened the current owner of Simply Thalia during that time used to be a partner of the past owner of Thalia Spice also. So he came up to me. He was like, hey, since you already purchased the other piece of the pie, might as well purchase the half piece of the pie. I was like, what are you talking about? oh, it's Simply Thalia. It's actually a brother-sister restaurant of Thalia Spice. And I was like, oh, cool. I did not know that. Ding. So there was like a big light bulb in my head. I was like, okay, all my concepts now, all my ideas. I don't need to bring any type of partners this time. I've learned my lessons. Just because somebody got money doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. Or, I need to learn from this mistakes, from these failures, and all the things that went along with that, right? So I gave the partners more of a choice. Not even a choice. It is a choice. It's up to them to make the decision. I was like, it's either I'm going to buy off your share or you buy off my share. What ended up happening is that they bought off my share. So I'm out. I was like, oh, okay. What now? Oh, I remember. Simply Thalia actually is offering it to me. Let me check it out. So I talked to the owner. We met up for a couple of weeks. This and that. I came to the restaurant. I checked it out. I was like, oh, this is actually a better location, better staff. And I was just like, oh, why are they selling it, right? Is it the same reason from the other one? Just because they're old, they don't want to take care of it, blah, 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 blah. And I looked deeper and deeper into it. Even though he sent me the tax returns and stuff like that, I was like, the P&L looks rigged. It looks like it's been doctorized or it's been played around with. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust my gut feeling. I'm going to take a chance again. I'm going to take big risks. I love taking big risks, right? Even though a lot of my friends and fellow entrepreneurs are telling me, Fritz, don't go in the restaurant industry. It's the hardest fucking thing you'll ever done. And then it's not going to be as profitable, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I love the challenge. I took upon it. I was like, you know what? No, I got this shit. Just because the other one failed doesn't mean that this one's failed, because I know marketing, I know PR, I know what I can do, I know operations and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure I can make this successful. Went into it. I was like, holy shit, there was a lot of problems into it, right? So I was like, oh, God damn, man. Excuse my language, but I was super stressed, Hal, in all honesty. Until now, even though I just hired a manager out there, well, not just hired, but I recently just hired a manager to handle all of my operations and stuff like that. But back then, I remember, man, I stayed there for a solid year. I ran that as an all of Jack Trades type of man, bro. I was the host, I was the waiter, I was the buzzer, I was the tech guy, I was like the guy that orders the food. I was the guy that's the manager. I was like everything, the finance, the market. Like it was crazy. It was crazy, but I handled it. I handled it real well, you know. But getting along with that, you asked me like how did you get in Simply Thalia, how did you jump into that? That was like the kind of like the pattern into it. So I look into the, you know, all the taxes and stuff. I jump into it. I took the risk and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it and see what I can do from this, right? So some of the funding that I got from that, from the old Thalia Spice, once it's brought up short, got into that. I partnered up with a couple of my friends that are kind of like more of a silent investor that are not going to be like somebody that can outvote me or control the concept that I want to do, anything like that. You know, but it's very minimal. It's just for the point where I want to, as I mentioned to you from the beginning, I love bringing success and accomplishments with my loved ones, with my community, because, you know, I want to share that wealth. I want to share the knowledge and everything that I'm gaining. So I did just that, you know, and they were kind of cool with it and stuff while I'm handling all the operations. So that's how I kind of like got into that and then up to this point.
That's incredible, Fritz. You know, I like how you were saying you were kind of like a jack of all trades there in the beginning. How did you know to do everything, or do you just kind of went with it? You were just yourself and you just learned as you went, or what steps did you kind of take to run the show there? You know, because that's really what you did. You jumped all the way in the pool, and you just made it happen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna boast about it, but shit, since I'm already here, I'm a very fast learner. Like, you put me somewhere, if I put my mind into it, I can do virtually anything. And I'm a very competitive person, right? So as you know, did you know that I compete professionally for men's physique?
Yes, sir. I did know that.
Okay. So like a lot of people still are kind of like, I don't know, mesmerized is the word that I'm looking for, I guess. Like they're kind of like shocked, like how I'm able to manage my time well. Right, still doing this type of interviews. Like I do this like almost in a day-to-day basis, and still doing my meetings, and still doing my fitness training, and still handling all my businesses. Right, not one, not two, not three, not 4, 5 businesses. Like I think sometimes like on top of my head, I can barely count how many I got because there's so many side projects here and there, and constantly developing and collaborating with fellow entrepreneurs, or fellow business owners, and it's awesome. That's why I love. But anyways, like. I'm a very fast learning type of guy. Like whatever it is that I put myself into, I want to achieve it. I want to learn it, you know, so therefore I can train somebody to show them the right way. So originally when I purchased the restaurant, the past owner was supposed to quote unquote mentor me, right? That was part of the contract. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to mentor me for a solid month, but unfortunately he did not. He backed out on it, and he didn't really, you know, went with his word or nothing, and it was very unfortunate. So I actually like that now that I look back. It's because that I'm able to see everything from the ground up, and how the perspective of coming a new employee out there, right? Like what would they do from the beginning, and what are the first mistakes they're gonna make. So therefore I learned that lessons already, and then I was able to tell that and show that and train that to the upcoming new employees that I was able to hire. Because when I bought the restaurant, I mean, a couple of the employees were great, but like there's some of them that wasn't great at all. And I think that's why the restaurant was continuing to fail back then. You know, the operations was not efficient. The budgeting was not efficient. You know, the current menu was not efficient at all. Like they have a bunch of stuff that's not selling and still there, and still continue to buy groceries. It just goes bad. You throw it away. You waste money. There's a lot of things that you need to look at. You know, in the restaurant industry, every fucking penny counts. So you gotta know like which one sells, and then cut that on the menu. Come up with a new recipe, with a new concept, with a new viral effect, and which exactly what I did. Right. So when I did that, I saw this post in Facebook, bro. Like I just had this idea. I was like, I saw this post in Facebook. It's like sushi donut. I was like, holy shit, sushi donut. This is kind of cool. And then I saw how many people, like millions and millions of people are viewing it. It was like in Food Insider, I think. And then I was like, okay, I checked it out. I was like, I'm going to do a similar concept, but not the same exact fucking recipe, because that's basically stealing it. But I stole the idea and innovate upon it, right? And that's how ideas, anything that came up with. You see something, you twist around it, you tweak it, You play around it, you put your own touch into it, and that's yours. And that's how a business is made. Like, the innovations. My mindset is very creative. So I came out there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something similar like this. So I came out with Sushi Donut. Pow! First week, it went fucking viral. You name it. Chicago Food Blogger, Chicago Food Fab, Chicago, everything. Like Time Out Chicago, Dine Out Chicago, NBC News. Like, I went everywhere. Like, everybody just came out there, media, and it was viral. There's times that we ran out of fucking sushi for like solid week, and it was crazy. Like, people were complaining because they were waiting in line for like 2 hours, and I can't do anything about it. Like, during that time, I was stressed out. And then now I look back, I was like, it's actually cool. That's a good problem to have, because you created a viral craze type of food niche within your community. So Simply Thalia got a little bit known into that. It kind of like put its back in the map in the food industry scene, and it was kind of cool how NBC News came out there interviewing me. I have like a published article about that and whatever, and then I went on TV and the news, and which is it helps out. And then all the Chicago foodie people came out there and then took pictures and posted us in social network, and we gained followers from it, like more customers, more views. It was just awesome, and it was just working well. But that was just a little bit of something about Simply Thalia and how I got into it, and then how I was able to, manage and all that stuff. It's not rocket science, guys. Like, if you guys want to learn something, you just jump into it. You put your heart and soul into it. Make sure you do your diligence work, do a little research. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. I suck at it for the first couple of days. I said days, not weeks. Days, like 1 or 2 days, maybe. And then after that, I was just like, oh, okay, I get it. And then you just continue to improve from it, right? You learn from your mistakes constantly. So, and then until to the point, I said, this is enough. It's enough. I enjoy this. I enjoy meeting people out here. I enjoy managing it. But at the same time, it's like it's time for me to level up even more, because I'm missing a lot of opportunities during that time. Because basically I came out there from 11 to 4 or 11 to 3. Those peak hours are the times when I usually do a lot of my meetings and where I do a lot of business collaborations and stuff like that with other fellow entrepreneurs and business owners, right? So I missed out on that opportunity. I was stuck in the restaurant and managing it and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm going to decide, less income, less profits. It's okay. I'm going to hire the manager and let him handle that so I can do all my other business work. So now I have all the free time in the world. I'm not tied up with any type of hard brick and mortar business that I have. And I just like do whatever it is in between that I have to do.
That's awesome, Fritz. And I did see the sushi donut. Is that what you call it, the sushi donut?
That's correct.
The sushi donut. Yeah, I was on the Simply Thalia. It looks on point, by the way.
Thank you.
And,
it went viral for the first couple months, 1, 2, maybe 3 months. And after that, just another food in the menu. I'm actually still deciding right now. I have 2 new concepts coming up, and I'm not sure which one to go with for, and hopefully this one goes viral too.
Oh, I wish you the best of luck, man. So kind of not jumping off that, but working off of that. Like as you were saying before, this food industry is super competitive. It's a crazy industry to get into, just like everyone was telling you, So what do you do to stand out? Like you were saying, you have these new ideas, and you saw the sushi donut on Facebook, and you changed it a little bit, and then you went with it, and you put your own little twist on it. So what advice would you give to today's entrepreneurs, the audience, people that are listening, on how to stay a step ahead of their competitors? Because right now, not just the food industry, many industries are just loud, very competitive. What advice would you give to them, and what has helped you succeed in staying relevant?
I think with anything, with any type of niche or industry or anything, just advice that I would give is just stay as fucking authentic as much as possible, whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So with that being said, meaning that just stay true, man. Like, fuck the fake it till you make it type of bullshit. I believe that that's good short term, but it will fade away. You cannot sustain that type of look. You're not happy with, you're not truly happy. Within you that you're faking it. So like, that's why a lot of people like that follows me appreciates like who and what I share. because like literally, if you go to my Instagram, my story or the story where I usually do that, I did this back in Snapchat before, but since Instagram came up with my story, I was like, you know what, might as well just do it in Instagram, just easier for me, one less thing to worry about, right? Because before I download the things that I did in Snapchat and then have to upload it in Instagram, I was like, nah, that's too much work.
Right.
I can't handle all that stuff. I can barely handle, all of the accounts. I have so much accounts. But anyways, my personal account itself is very important to me because that's where I share most of my journey, and I love sharing my journey so people can learn from it, right? And I can hopefully motivate them, and they motivate me too. But anyway, so when I did that, like, I share authentic shit, bro. Like, I share what I eat. Sometimes I look bad in certain angles. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't dress up and look a certain way. Like, sometimes I look really good. Sometimes I look really bad. Sometimes I just don't give a fuck. Like, it's just like, it's like, for me, it's like a one take, one shot. That's it. No redos. Whatever it is that I take a snap on or a videotape of, that's it. That's going in there. That's going in the story. I don't care what the angles is. I don't care how the quality is. I don't care what it looks like. But what I care about is that, am I sharing the actual authenticity and realness of me or what I want to share, right? So when I share my food, that's it, man. Like, I don't care if it's not high class food. I cook that, I warm that up in the microwave, great, but it gets the work. I get enough nutrients from it, and that's how I get able to get the physique. Like, when I show like a certain angle of my body and stuff like that, sometimes I look so skinny, sometimes I look so big, sometimes I look really muscular and vascular and all that stuff, great. I don't care. Like, I'm just trying to share like the journey, the actual genuineness. So now I don't have to fake it, right? I just show whatever it is that I want. So people, it's less work for me. It's less stress for me. It's just authenticity. It's just, I can show whatever side I have, and I have nothing to hide. And I think that's the beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, it's like, this is the Fritz lifestyle. This is what you get. Like you say, you don't have to worry about performing a certain way. You just got to jump on there and say what you got to say.
That's right.
And that jumps into something else that I know for you is super important, is time management. And especially for you and your lifestyle, can you talk to us a little bit about the importance of time in general, and tell us what you do to most effectively manage your time right now? Because you were saying before how you were really all in on the restaurant, and it was taking away a lot of opportunities for you to do collaborations and business meetings and other things. And now that you have that in place, I feel like that's really important for entrepreneurs and just people in general to understand, like, not to get fully caught up in something, but you need to understand at a certain point you need to take yourself away because you're missing other opportunities. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Sure thing.
So for me, as being an entrepreneur, for my criteria, I would like to say I'm very unorthodox, or I do it so differently from everybody, and that's why I think it's been working for me. It's because I don't burn out. I never burn out. I don't just like work, hustle, grind. You know how like people keep saying and preaching nowadays, hustle 24/7. Yeah, they no off days. Even with their working out, like I can relate both. Like, both fitness and entrepreneurship for me go hand in hand. It's like both of them are my passion, and then they help me for everything in life itself as a whole. My discipline for fitness gets applied to my discipline throughout my businesses. The lessons that I learned from my businesses gets applied to my concept of my fitness. It goes hand in hand, and it's awesome, and it's great. But anyways, like when it comes to time management, for me, I love pleasing myself. I love kind of like, I would like to say, pampering myself. It's because it's given me that freedom. It's giving me that opportunity to do that stuff. So when I do that, I'm actually creating more, I would like to say, a mindset type of feeling, or mindset type of not feeling. It's like a training for me that, okay, in order to achieve more, in order to do more, you need to please yourself more. You need to pamper yourself more. So that's why I live a lifestyle where I can just wake up anytime I want. I can just go anywhere I want. I can travel anywhere I want. I can do whatever I want, but at the same time getting the job done, right? So with that being said, like when it comes to time, I have everything set in place already. my business runs by itself, but I'm still overseeing it, and I'm continuing to, grow upon it and hopefully progress upon it even further while continuing to collaborate with people. And that's it comes to partnering up with the right people, finding the right employees to put in place. And once you do just that, the world is yours. You can do whatever you want. Like, I'm going to be open to my audience or to your audience or to whoever who's listening. In all honesty, I think I am lazy. Now that I think about it, yes, I think when I say that, it's because lazy people find a faster way to get things done efficiently. Take notes on that. I am fucking lazy. In all honesty, like I'm the same way back in college. Like I wasn't an A or B student. I believe I was a C student at best. I think I graduated only with barely a 3.0 GPA or something like that. You know why? I barely show up to class. And all I did was I'll show up on the project days, on the exam days, and I will study the night before and make sure that I will pass or ace that test. And I did just that. But I will never turn in any type of homework. I don't have my attendance points and all that stuff. And that's why I think I became a C student. Because I wasn't digging school, the education system itself. I was just doing it to get by because I was there already. But what I was digging is actually the relationships and the friendships that I created from that, and the experiences that I created in college, like, the parties and stuff like that. And like, I enjoyed that. I really soaked that in, and I lived my life to the fullest. I think that's my number one motto in life. Just, you got to live life to the fullest, right? So time management for me, like, sometimes I do that. Sure. I do. I have a success list, right? Before I go to sleep. I look at the things that I need to get done the next day, or I have like the macro and the micro goals, like the long-term one, the short-term goals, and I get that done, right? But sometimes I play around with it too. Like I push that back, or some new opportunity will come along, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll do this meeting right here because I think I see more potential in this, so I'll cancel on this one. I'll make an excuse to kind of like push it forward because it's not really an opportunity that I think I see forward with. So you gotta just find the value and how much it's worth to you, and is it really valuable to you? Like, how much do you care about it, right? It's either you make an excuse or you make it happen. And that's just that. Same thing that applies to fitness. If you really fucking want it, you'll get it done. I don't care about the excuse. A lot of people say, yeah, man, I'm not like you. I don't own businesses. I work from 9 to 5. Cool. Well, cool, man. I pretty much work anytime, any second, any hour, any minute, like throughout the day, but I still get it done. Once I get an hour or 2 hours of free time, that's when I jump in. Like sometimes I have to bring my fitness clothing with me, like, at all times, like a bag. That's cool. Like you just got to be ready and make an opportunity and the time for it. If you really want it, you will get it fucking done. And that's that.
I love how you said that. If you really want it, you'll find a way to make it happen, whether that's fitness, a business, no matter who you are, what you're doing. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, and you don't necessarily need to be working, like you were saying, 20 hours a day, 10 days a week, you know what I mean? But just to make the best of your time, make good decisions on what you're doing with your time, So
that's right.
Put your money where your mouth is. So, if you want to hit the gym every day, then hit the gym every day. I'm a little guilty here. I'm not going to lie, be transparent also. I've had trouble staying consistent in the gym, but that's something I'm working on myself, and that's just part of my journey, and I understand that.
As long as you recognize that, as long as you're aware of that, I think that's what matters the most. A lot of people are not aware of that, and that's the sad thing. So if you're aware of that, you're good to go. You're on your way out there. But don't get me wrong. People just hearing like, oh, he already got it, said it, done. Of course, I put my due diligence in order to get to where I am. There's times where I had to sleep like in the floor of the office before when I started back in Silicon Valley and stuff like that. There's times like that. There's times where I had to sacrifice my birthdays, my celebrations, or any type of that where I'm just continuing to work. And there's those times. That was back in the day. When I say back in the day, that's like just recent, probably 3-4 years ago. Right. But I've created the opportunity for myself. I created this lifestyle the way I envision it, but I put my diligence work before it. So when you ask about time management, now, yeah, I can probably do more, honestly, but I told you guys, I'm fucking lazy, So I find a way where I can I can just get by and just go a little bit here and a little bit there. And I think that's kind of like the same concept that I told you guys, that the dilemma that I'm currently in, right? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where I should put all of my effort into 100%. What ended up happening is that I have 5% here, 10% here, 12% here. It's just I'm all over the place, right? So to just give you guys an idea, I'm a co-founder for a cybersecurity firm called ZeroDay Partners. As mentioned before, I'm a restaurateur. I have 2 restaurants. I have Simply Thalia and then Thalia Spice. Less on Thalia Spice since they bought most of my share, but I'm still a co-owner of that. I'm now a co-owner also of a clothing line, right? We have 3 stores here in Chicago and another store in Atlanta called Iridium Clothing Co. Imagine that. So I have that. I run the e-commerce of that. I have a lot of drop shipping stuff, e-commerce stuff, sites. Just makes a couple, hundreds, sometimes then hundreds here and there, which is cool. I still do my personal coaching not only for training, but also for motivational speaking and stuff like that. Success coaching type stuff. People just reach out to it. I haven't even created my own personal brand yet because I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to handle all of that. But I think that's what I'm going to head into soon. That's what I'm thinking of. Because a lot of people are hitting me up and I don't know, I haven't created like my website, my funnels yet. None of that stuff. People are just literally paying me through PayPal or Venmoing me or Chase Quick paying me right now doing this type of stuff, right? Cool. I have my real estate. I just recently purchased a condo back in the Philippines. And then now I'm continuing to grow my portfolio. I just met up with this guy here in Chicago. We're looking at like a 41 unit by South Chicago, and it's a great opportunity. So I got to look a little bit, partner up with more investors there because as I said, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I love to spread it out. I love to diversify, and that's who I am. What else am I missing? I'm doing my personal trainings sometimes with the corporate people when I feel like it's worth it. Because I don't want to just train any type of people. My time is valuable. I can barely train myself. If I'm able to train somebody, they need to be paying me a pretty good money for that. So I'm very selective for everything I do and who I train. So I have the staffing agency. I have the social media marketing agency too, called Smart Social Media Advanced Revolution Technology. I recently just created a local marketing SEO for here in Chicago called EC Media, and that's still in development. I haven't done that much on that. I feel like that one's failing and I'm losing a lot of money on that, or not losing a lot of money, but losing a lot of, I would like to say, traction. I need to talk to my partners and make sure that they're doing, and get back on that. Same thing with a little bit of everything. So there's a lot of concepts and things that continuing to collaborate and build with the current stuff that I have right now, and I'm all over the place. And I think that's kind of like a problem for me now, not an incentive, but more of a problem. So I got to look actually in the mirror and figure out what is it exactly that I want to do, right? So, one of my main goals is to actually eventually create my own charity to be able to help out and really influence people. And I think that's what I want, but I'm still not on that position to be able to do that, unfortunately. But that's definitely where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, your heart's really in the right place, Fritz, and I can say that just out of listening to you through our interview. And it's crazy, you have all these different businesses in multiple different industries. I don't even know how you keep up with it. You might be lazy in Fritz terms, but definitely not to the normal, the standard human. So based off of that, a lot of people say, that you should focus on one area or one industry or one idea. And from someone like you, where you diversified fully, but now you're kind of at the point where you're like, oh shit, I kind of got to really dial in and figure out exactly what I want to do. What would you tell someone who has a bunch of different ideas, and what advice would you tell them? Would you tell them to focus on one idea, jump in all of them, or what would you tell that person?
Well, I don't want to be that one person where I'm like giving a tip and then I'm doing it. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be like, and I don't want to be biased also at the same time. But if that someone is having a lot of ideas right now, I think you should really write it down plan it out in each one, and which one has the highest, I would like to say, highest probability to making it successful. Meaning you have to do your diligence work. Once again, as I said, you got to do your research. Who's your current demographic, your target audience, who's your competitors, your top competitors. How much is it going to cost you? Do you need funding? Do you not need funding? How much work is going to cost you? How much? You got to do all that. You got to put that in the equation and see which one. For me, I was a little bit all over the place because I had the choice. I was able to do that. I had the freedom to do that. I'm able to do that because I already put my diligence work before. Now I already have a stream of income that sustained my lifestyle, and I was okay with that. But that's what I'm trying to say. When it comes to a level of success, it's not on the level of success where I want it to be because all of my effort has been separated. As I said before, 5% there, 10% there, 15%. I can't really leave it all of that and just focus on one thing because I already created that. So it's kind of like a dilemma / a problem / a real challenge to me, which I do love, like I mentioned before. So it's like, for me, it's like a long term. It's not, none of them are not going to happen overnight. They're not going to be super successful to the point where I want it to be and where I can say it's successful in my own terms, right? But I think for people that are listening right now, if you have a lot of ideas, guys, and girls, just, as I said, plan it out, write it all down, and see which one you think has the most potential of, because it's going to take over your time if you're going to keep thinking of a little bit of this idea right here, a little bit of it right here. Focus and make sure you got one thing going on right first. Sustain your current income, your lifestyle, whatever it is that you need to do, and then now you can branch out after that, right? But if you focus on a lot of things right away, you're not good at one thing first, then I think that you're going to have a hard time, kind of like what I'm going through right now. So, focus on one thing, guys.
That's exactly why I asked you that, Fritz, because you're speaking from experience, and there's nothing like experience, in my opinion. So thank you for giving that advice.
No problem.
Audience, do not hold him to it. He's just doing the best that he thinks. So let's see here. We're getting to the hour mark, so we'll start wrapping this thing up.
Sure thing.
I know something that you're very proud of is becoming part of the YEC, the Young Entrepreneur Council. How did you, which is, if the audience does not know, it's an invite-only, like exclusive entrepreneur community. How did you put yourself in the position to be a part of that? Like, did you reach out to them? Did they approach you? How did that all look like?
They've actually been trying to get me part of it since the beginning of 2017, last year, right? It's 2018 now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, beginning of 2017, I believe, like early months of 2017. And then at first I was like, that's kind of, what type of value am I going to get from this, right? Why are you guys looking for me, this, and that? And they're just, it sounds prestigious to me, which I do like. I like those type of stuff, like to be part of something. I love it because the network that you gain from it, it's next level, right? I love networking and knowing another person, meeting another person, collaborating with another business. It's awesome. I love it. I love the process of it. But anyways, when they were trying to get that, they're trying to get me into the platform. They're trying to be part of it. I denied it. I was like, I don't really see the potential to it. And then finally, the later months, I think around December actually, which is a couple months ago, December of 2017, they reached out back to me again. It's like, hey, we have a lot of this, and that. I decided, I was like, you know what am I going to lose? It's just another networking platform. I've already supported all the fellow entrepreneurs, right? I love supporting people, and that's why I joined a lot of this groups per se, like, the Secret Entourage. I'm part of that. They're killing it. I love it. I love the concept that they have. Love the community that they have. Founders, that's cool. It's new by Gerard Adam. He's killing it. He's cool. Another top level entrepreneur out there. I buy a lot of courses too. I buy a lot of courses like from Ty Lopez and and Grant Cardone and all Team Ferriss, all this top Gary Vee, like those are like my idols and like the people that I look up to, in all honesty. And I love supporting that. But I feel like I'm wasting money too at the same time, because I keep buying them, I keep supporting them, but I'm not really returning anything back, because I haven't even taken them or taken the time to actually look into it, because I'm so busy doing my stuff, my own stuff, right? So, which is kind of funny. But anyways, like, I was getting at to, just, I don't even know where to start, in all honesty, because with I'm lost for words.
No, I mean I totally get you, Fritz. It's like you want to support them, but at the same time, you have all these things going on. You gotta put food on the table for yourself first.
Exactly. But that's what I was saying. I felt like it was a waste of my it was a waste of my money and my time supporting all that. But it wasn't. Now that I look back, I think I met you in one of those groups, didn't I? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, in Founders we met. Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. Okay, Founders. I did another founder podcast also with Danny. He was pretty cool as well. I think you guys should collaborate also. Just to let you know, he did the podcast interview with me, I think last week or something. I forgot.
Yeah, actually check that out. It was a great interview too. Sounds like a great guy. We've been like, back and forth kind of talking through Founders, but I think a collaboration is definitely in order. So
just to get back to your last question, what was your main question again? I got kind of sidetracked when I started talking about supporting fellow entrepreneurs. My bad about that.
No worries, Fritz. It was just how did you become a part of the YC? And what I was really getting at is the importance of collaborations. That's really what I was trying to get to. Like, to help someone that's starting out, that's just starting a business, that's just starting a personal brand, what is the most important thing for them to be doing in order to gain traction, to get recognized, to put themselves in the position to succeed, in your opinion?
I think for me, what I've done, I haven't even found a mentor, but what I have done is just collaborating with the same type of mindset, type of people around your niche, and then diversifying from that. As long as they have that positive, successful mindset and they have that drive, you're able to feel that. You're able to recognize that easily. So if you know that the type of person that you need to collaborate with, but you feel like that you don't have enough credibility and assets and whatnot and network to reach out to that person, don't doubt yourself. Just go for it, right? So a lot of people actually that reached out to me before, they thought that I would never do any type of collaboration with me because they think, I'm all high and mighty. And I was like, you're wrong. Like, you just got to put yourself out there and just reach out. I did the same thing. Back then, as I said, in the Instagram fitness community. Back then, I reached out to a page that has like 100,000 plus followers, and it had like 10,000 followers, but their 100,000 followers back then only got a couple thousand of likes, and in my 10,000 followers, I have a couple hundreds of like close to 1,000, so the conversion is a little higher. So I just asked, hey, should we shout for shout? Can we share each other's thing? And we did that. We grew together. And it was awesome, So I think we just gotta put yourself out there and reach out and give the best you got and hope for the best. But also, again, put your due diligence of work. Make sure that you know what you're doing, what you're reaching out for, what you're trying to collaborate for. You don't want to sound like just another fan or another follower. Just, hey, I wanted this. Like you're just asking something without giving something in return. You need to provide value in order to get value.
Right. I think that's super important, Fritz. It's because with the whole thing with Gary Vee and DMing and, he's got the whole world DMing each other, which is great. But at the same time, it makes it very loud. So you got to really set yourself apart and know the boundaries of being super aggressive towards these people. You know what I mean? You want to be respectful and, like you said, bring value right away. Don't say, oh, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? You want to show the type of person that you are. You want to thank them for what they've done for you. I think that's very tough for people, is providing that value up front. But it comes back to what you said is doing your due diligence. If you see what they're about, what they're doing, just think how you can help them even the slightest bit.
That's right.
And I think it's also super important what you said for me, for the audience, for everyone listening, that don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach up. I recently read a book by a guy named Alex Banian. He's our age as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. But he wrote. I did a podcast interview with him. I think you would really enjoy. It'll be coming out here soon. But his book is called The Third Door, and it's just a super quick summary, not to jump into it, but it's his journey of interviewing Bill Gates, Lady Gaga, some of those successful people in our world. And he was at a collaboration or a party or something with one of the biggest CEOs in the country. And the guy was walking around. It was like a Halloween party or something. He was walking around with a clipboard. He's like, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" or whatever it was. And then Alex said, "I want to be I want to shadow you for a day." And he goes,
Ooh.
And he goes, "Okay, done." He messaged my thing. And then after he shadowed him for a day or two, he told him, because all of his employees were coming, "Oh, you're so lucky. I wish he would let me shadow him, da-da-da." So Alex told the CEO, he's like, "Why don't you let your employees shadow you? Or I think they would really like it." He's like, "I would love to, but nobody would ask."
Ooh,
so the power of the ask, a lot of times the people that are what we think are high up celebrities, they all started where we are today.
That's correct. That's right.
I think that's been big for me for reaching out to people, like you, Ari Nay. I spoke with him earlier today. I had a great FaceTime call with him, but it's just very important. I think the power of collaboration with the social media is very important for businesses, for personal brands, for everything in today's day and age.
I completely agree.
Awesome, Fritz. So is there anything else that you want to add? Where can we, before anything, where can we follow you on social media? How can we interact with you? Where can we connect with you? Where's the best place that the audience can connect?
So I have, let's see here. I think virtually every single thing, if you just put Fritz Lifestyle, everything will show up through Twitter, through Instagram. Instagram's where I'm most active upon, just sharing my day-to-day life. It's not technically all about business or entrepreneurship or anything like that. But if you guys want to get to me in a personal level, that's where it's at. I share pretty much everything that I do in day-to-day daily whenever I can. So my lifestyle and throughout my story and throughout my posts also. So Instagram, Fritz Lifestyle. LinkedIn, if you guys want to do a little bit more business and just see a little bit more background on my businesses, same thing. LinkedIn/n/Fritz Lifestyle. Facebook, I have a Facebook fan page also, but that's a little bit more on fitness side of things, I would like to say. I haven't really converted that yet, but eventually it's going to convert kind of like similar to my Instagram, because Instagram is just a lot easier for me to manage. But that should be an excuse in the near future once I grow a little bit more, hopefully, because I need to manage all of that. In all honesty, everybody has a different target audience and each different platform. But right now, YouTube also, I recently just created a documentary about me. I have a videographer that follows me around once every now and then to take a video of my life. Like just from meetings, from me managing the staff, from just me playing ping pong or working out or something. Just like my whole entire life pretty much, and just sharing my grind and hustle and my meetings and what I do in day-to-day. That's pretty interesting. I think you guys should check that out to find out a little bit more about me, because you'll have a feel of who I am and what I do. That's youtube.com/Fritz Colcol, which is my full name, Fritz Colcol. But yeah, or you can just Google me. All of my stuff will show up by then. It'll be a lot easier. But yeah, you guys can follow me in any of those social media. Reach out to me if you guys need any type of help. As I said, I love helping out people. I love inspiring people, motivating them and help in a certain way. If I can just give a quick tip here and there, great. I'll spend my 2, 5, up to 10 minutes of my time to people just to help out. And that's what I love to do.
Well, thank you, Fritz. And you definitely did a big solid for me with this interview. I'm going to do everything I can to help you, to help promote you and get you to the next level, because you're someone, in my opinion, that really stands out in this entrepreneurial space and someone that really needs to get to that next level because you show it all. You know, I love the Fritz lifestyle because that's exactly what it is. You know, it's the entire lifestyle. It's like the Fritz life. You know what I mean?
That's right. Thank you, Tal. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, by the way. And again, happy belated birthday to you. And I hope you're the best, man. And I'm looking forward for this interview, in all honesty.
Thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciate you. And thanks for coming on the show.
No problem at all.
And that's a wrap, my friends. What an incredible time I had today. I hope you guys got a lot of knowledge that you can utilize in your businesses today. Aspiring entrepreneurs, aspiring business owners, there's so much value in this episode. So I really hope that you were taking notes, that you got some applicable information. And if you want to connect with me or Fritz, you can find us both on Instagram. Fritz is at Fritz Lifestyle. He's there daily, putting stories, posts, bringing value every single day. And as always, I'm on Instagram at Tal and Tamir. We're both also on Facebook, so you can catch us on there. Feel free to tag us wherever. We're here to connect with you guys to help build up each other's dreams and do what we can to thrive in this beautiful business world in 2018. So I hope you guys enjoyed and got a lot of value from this. Until next time, we'll see you soon.